Welcome to this video, guys. It's something different for a change. I'm bringing you this preview of the new T10 French light tank, the AMX 13105, and this is footage from the Sandbox server that I am allowed to test on. And I thought I'd bring you a video on this little tank because I really quite like playing it. I have to stress though that the stats for this tank at the moment are subject to change, obviously, because it is a Sandbox test server. It's a stage even before the regular test server, so I guess with the new Sandbox server they get an opportunity to get more people to test stuff rather than just super testers or the pre-release test server, basically. So it gives Wargaming a better opportunity to fine-tune vehicles, I would imagine, because they've got a larger test subject player base to get results from. The Sandbox server itself, if you don't know what it is, it's basically a server for Wargaming to test pretty radical changes to the gameplay mechanics and things that they can't really normally test on the regular test server that is basically just testing before the release of a patch, and it gives them the opportunity to do some pretty wild things in terms of mechanics. And if you read about it, they're trying to change RT and change the dynamics of the game itself, so armor has more meaning than it now has on the live server. And on the live server, armor lacks meaning mainly because of two things, mostly RT and premium ammo. But on this test or this Sandbox server, they're actually trying especially to change RT in a way that you don't get the one-shots anymore. You don't get RT as a class that focuses mainly on damage. So they've introduced a stun mechanic as well, which is basically affects the performance of your vehicle when a shell lands on top of or near your vehicle. It decreases your crew effectiveness, which is a pretty interesting idea, and I actually must say I quite like the mechanic of it. They did test penetration drop-off for regular ammo as well, which I don't think the player base was too happy about. But then again, this being a Sandbox server, it is a great way for them to actually gather feedback and do something with it and fine-tune it. I mean, they've already greatly fine-tuned it compared to the previous iterations of the Sandbox server. So, I mean, it is definitely going in the right direction. And while it's not perfect yet, it does make gameplay more enjoyable than on the live server, especially for players like me, for instance, that do get to see a lot of RT focus in matches and are not really a stranger to being one-shotted just because RT likes to focus you all the time. That doesn't really happen anymore. I have got some pretty massive hits with RT still on bad shots and stuff, but all in all it's way better. RT does less damage, but RT also gets assistance damage, because if they stun you, all the damage that's being done to you basically works as assistance damage for light tanks, so they actually get a share of the XP and the profit of the guys shooting the target. So it's actually quite a nice dynamic. But I'll start the replay so we can actually go into the AMX 13105, which is the new Tier 10 French light tank. It looks a lot like the AMX 1390. It's pretty much the same chassis, but it has a bigger gun. The gun itself has got 3 shots. Actually, the AMX 1390 has 4 shots now, and I must say the AMX 1390 in the current iteration is a lot like this tank. In terms of gameplay, I must say I like this light tank a lot from the Tier 10 light tanks generally, because I just like autoloaders, and I like autoloaders with a fast clip reload, or well, less shots in the clip but a faster reload. All in all, I think, to be honest though, as was my feedback to Wargaming itself, this vehicle is balanced almost perfectly, I think. The only thing it does need is a slightly faster clip reload, because at the moment in this current iteration, it has, I think with Brothers in Arms on my crew loadout, it's got 1800 DPM, where with BR, well, all the other Tier 10 light tanks basically get something like 2900 DPM in the current phase of testing. So it has well, roughly 1,000 less DPM, and I understand that the tank with an autoloader needs less DPM to prevent it from being overpowered, but I do think that this tank could easily have something like 2,300 DPM instead of 1,800, which would give it a slightly faster clip reload, because as you'll see in this replay, I will basically be screwed over by the clip reload in a sense that it stops me from actually playing the game too much, especially for 3 shots that you have here. I'm just waiting for the 50B to come out, and he actually does come out, so shoot 1 into him, shoot 2 into him, and I think of snapping the other one off, but unfortunately it doesn't hit, and I see that this flank is about to collapse, and I see all the light tanks of my team on the other flank, so I'm actually going to join them and see if we can get around the enemy. But yeah, as you can see, the mobility is really nice. I'm not going to go over the stats too much. It has quite a nice gun, good penetration, 234 at the moment with the regular APCR shells. The 1390 itself has something like 202 pen, which makes it a lot more usable in most engagement than the current version on the live server. Actually, I prefer the one on the test server over that. We get to go around the enemy team, and I was looking at the team list, and I thought, oh, we've got quite the advantage in terms of numbers, so it should be fine. But then at some point my team just randomly starts dying, which is a bit unfortunate. We've mostly got light tanks still alive, or lightly armored vehicles. We saw the Kranwagen here in the middle. This 48 moves up, so I just come out, shoot 1 into him. I actually bounce a shot, don't know how that went. Unfortunately, I bounced the remaining 2 shots. The gun handling with at the moment I've got third stabs and gun lane drive on it, as well as vents. No, coated optics actually. I don't have vents. But the gun handling, as you can see, is actually quite nice, and the gun handling on the 1390 feels nicer as well on the Sandbox server. But here you can see I'm just waiting for the reload again, and for this Kranwagen just gets to move around and kill a lot of friendly tanks, because I can't actually do anything about it, because my DPM is so low that I basically am a bit screwed over. I managed to get him down to 4%, and then we are sitting here reloading again, and I think with my current setup I've got 32 seconds reload for a 3-shot clip of 1200 damage, which I think I personally feel is too slow. That's the only thing I would change about this tank. The rest is perfectly fine, it can stay the same. But the clip reload I feel could be brought down. And now it's just 2 light tanks against T57 Heavy and the TD. TD comes around the corner. I get pretty, well, it was a lucky shot to actually pan that. Now I'm reloading again, 32 seconds. The thing is, with 3 shots in the clip, if I don't reload, I can only do about roughly like 800 damage, which is not enough to kill him. So I'm reloading. I'm hoping the WZ actually plays smart, and he actually does. It's quite funny. It was a good synergy between the two of us. He was just baiting this T57 Heavy, and I'm just laying an ambush with this tank. T57 Heavy was not thinking. I'm not reloading, unfortunately. Managed to put 1 shot in. Second one can't hit, and I'm reloading again. I could have spared this shot. The thing is, I didn't know what the WZ was going to do, or if he was going to suicide. So I make a habit of reloading. But all in all, as you can see, this vehicle is actually quite nice in general, as a little light tank. And I mean, the other light tanks I played as well. I played the Sheridan, which currently has the same gun stats as the T49 in terms of the derp, so that wasn't really much changed, not much I can tell you about it. It's pretty much a T49 and to all intents and purposes. I did play the German light tank, which was a lot of fun, really similar to the RU actually, and yeah, gameplay wise pretty much the same. Didn't play the Chinese light, and I played the T100, which is the Russian light tank, which I think at the moment is not well balanced. It has really effective frontal armor. It's the fastest of all the light tanks. It has the best power to weight ratio of all the light tanks. It's got slightly less DPM, but it can easily bounce tier 9 to 10 medium shots on the front plate, which I don't think a light tank should be able to do. So I hope that Wargaming does change that in the next iteration. As I said earlier, this is Sandbox, so everything might change. This tank might change, but all in all I can say that this little light tank is actually a lot of fun to play, and if it stays with these stats basically, I will definitely get it on a live server as one of the first tanks, because I greatly enjoyed playing it. So I hope this video was informative to you guys. I hope you enjoyed seeing this little thing in action. And yeah, I hope that Wargaming will allow me to publish this video. So if they will, then enjoy the views, and if they don't, then a little bit sad for me. But yeah, see you on the next time, guys. Feel free to rate it, subscribe to the channel, and see you around.